Tonight on the King Omar Sharif Show, we got some more relationship talk for y'all, and I know y'all love having those couples conversations. And tonight we're going to be discussing the lack of understanding. Do you ever feel like sometimes you just can't be heard and what you're trying to say just can't get through? Well, if you're going like this right now, this is the show for you. So let's not wait any longer, y'all. Let's talk about it.
Oh yeah, you gotta feel yourself. You gotta see the beauty in you. Pull your cameras out, turn your phones on and hit record. I need you to say this with me.
If nobody told you you're beautiful to me, open your eyes, there's beauty to see. If nobody told you you're beautiful to me, inside out you're a real beauty. You were made so beautifully. You were made so beautifully. You were made so beautifully. Inside out you're a real beauty. If nobody told you you're beautiful to me, open your eyes, there's beauty to see. If nobody told you you're beautiful to me, inside out you're a real beauty. You were made so beautifully. You were made so beautifully. You were made so beautifully.
Hello, my beautiful people. I welcome you back to the King Omar Sharif Show, where we turn our bad into good situations. This show is all about you, your mind, your body, your soul. I believe if we can control those three things, we'll find happiness. Before we get started with tonight's show, I want to give a huge thank you to all my supporters who have already been watching the videos, watching the shows each and every Tuesday night. I thank you. I love you. If you haven't subscribed yet, now's the time to join the family. Each and every Tuesday night, we're going to have more great content coming to you. And there's already great videos that's already out there for you to see as well. So hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, like, share, comment, share with a friend. And we're going to grow together, y'all. That's love. Go ahead. I'll give you a minute to do that. All right, y'all, let's dive into this big issue that many people have in their relationships, and that's a lack of understanding. So I think we need to address it. And in order for us to address it, we got to be honest and open with our communication. All right, we got to be able to try to understand each other's perspectives. So when we're open and honest, that's us speaking our truth. And that other person needs to be good at doing some active listening. You know how people say, I heard you, I heard you, I heard you, right? I heard you. But did you really? Are you really actively listening to try to understand what's going on? A lot of times I think that people will just agree with you just so they can move on from the conversation. And when you do that, you leave the door open for unresolved issues. So if I'm talking to you and I'm voicing whatever's going on with me or with us, and I feel like you blowing me off and you're not really giving me any feedback, and even worse, not showing any changes or any empathy, you gotta be empathetic, right? You gotta be sincere about what you're trying to do, okay? And that word empathy is pretty big, because if you're talking to me or I'm talking to you and you feel like I don't care, that's gonna bother you. If you feel like you're not trying to understand my feelings and pour inside, that's gonna bother you. Now, I don't want to mess us up. You had your baggage before you came into this relationship. I had my luggage before I came into this love relationship. But in order for us to make this work together, we got to start unpacking some of that stuff. We got to unpack our baggage. We got to unpack our luggage. We got to be open and honest with each other so we can work on this understanding. Now, with that, we have to be willing to communicate. Come on, y'all. Communication is the biggest word and also the biggest divider amongst us as people, whether we're in a relationship or not, in the world. When you don't have good communication, you got that language barrier. And even if we speak in the same language, a lot of times it sounds like, what? What are you saying? It sounds like a bunch of blah, blah, blah. Now, either I don't care about what you're saying, or you're having trouble putting how you feel into words. Okay? And that's big. Now, in order for us to be honest, in order for us to be open, you got to start letting me know when you're ready, because some things you have to really work on when the person who's been harmed or the person who has things to overcome is ready to share those things with you. So a big part of communicating is being patient and being ready and willing to say, you know what, you went through this, that, and that. You may have let me know a little bit, but didn't really dive deep into it. And in order for me to be a good active listener, I need to recognize that and say, wow, she just kind of hinted on something that sounds really deep. She may not be ready to open up entirely to it, but I'll kind of let her know, or him know, whatever the situation is with you. I heard you mention this last time. And if there's something that you're ever ready to talk about with me, just know that I'm here to listen to you. I'm here to support you. And I want you to know that this is a safe place for you to do that. We got to create safe places and safe environments and work on our trust so we can open up to each other and unpack that baggage and unpack that luggage and unpack that pain and unpack that hurt and unpack that trauma. But if I'm constantly cutting you off or blowing you off or not creating that safe place, I don't think that we'll ever really be able to address the issues at hand. Now, I'm not telling you to be your man's or your lady's therapist, because some things are too traumatic where they need to go and speak to a therapist. But you could be that beginning step. You could be the first step into them opening up. A lot of people, when they have that pain in their history, that pain in their past, they're not always willing or ready to tell anybody. You might be the first person that they're trying to tell on earth. And this could be something that happened to them as a child, as an adolescent, as an adult. You just never know. So what I've been practicing and what I've been working on is being good at active listening, okay? So a part of communication, a part of that barrier, a part of that breakdown is just us not paying attention to what the other person is saying or trying to say. So work on those listening skills, y'all. They'll really help you out in the long run. Now, since we're talking about communication, right? The way we communicate with each other is important too. Now, I need to understand, there's that word again, what your communication style is. It's like a boxer. Boxers have different styles, right? Now, I don't want us fighting, of course. Maybe using the boxer isn't a great thing to use when we're talking about communicating in the name of love, right? But just to let you understand that we may have different styles. Some people may be able to receive a higher tone. You hear what I'm saying to you? I need you to listen to me right now. Are you listening? Right? Some people might be able to respond okay with somebody with that overbearing and yelling type of tone. But this is when you got to understand, there's that word again, understand who you're with. Some people might not respond well to you yelling. Some people might need you to ease your way into that conversation. Some people may need you to use a lower tone. Because if you yelling at me, I'm going to shut down if that's not what I'm trying to receive. If I don't respond well, or if you yelling at me triggers me and I'm yelling back at you, what's really going to get done here? So make sure that we understand each other's styles of communication. And with styles of communication, here's another good one. Sometimes our love languages don't match. Sometimes we have mismatched love languages. Now, what does that mean? That means that your love language may be this, my love language may be that, and it's okay. We don't have to have the same exact love languages. But what we do need to have is that understanding of what our love languages are, so we can communicate effectively. Okay? Your love language is this, my love language is that. but make sure that you can speak my love language fluently to me so I can speak your love language fluently to you. And that's going to increase the way we communicate and the way we're empathetic and the way we love on each other. So keep that in mind too. Now, as I sit back and think about other things that can mess up the way we understand each other. Now, if I'm not able to handle whatever stress I have in my life, if I'm having a bad day and we just happen to communicate with each other on that day, you may not get the best version of me. You may get that fed up, irritated, angry, unhappy energy from me. Because wherever I am in my head, that's where I'm gonna be at. And the good thing for us to do, if we're having those tough times mentally, emotionally, is to let our significant other know, hey, now is not the good time. I've been dealing with this today. So, we could talk about what you're talking about at a different time. Because I'm not really going to be able to receive it right now. I just need to clear my head, clear my thoughts, and then we can pick back up on what you're trying to talk about. I promise you that I care. I promise you that I won't forget that you want to talk about this. But right now, I don't think that I'm going to be completely open to hearing what you have to say and being completely open to, even more importantly, receiving what you have to say. All right. So if it's a bad time, let your significant other, let that person know, like, look, it's not a good time right now. You know I love you. You know I care about you. But right now, mentally, I'm not there. Right now, emotionally, I'm drained. So hopefully, they'll be able to respect that and understand that and don't feel like you're abandoning them and leaving them hanging and not really trying to understand how they're feeling right now. You just let them know, give me a minute, give me a moment, and we'll be able to pick this up in a moment, all right? And get back to where you want to be right now. Now, another thing that can throw things off and can make you shut down and not have that good understanding with each other is if you have conversations about where you want to be in life. You have conversations where you see each other in life. If you have told your person about the visions that you have for each other in this relationship, whatever that vision may be, marriage, financial, children, whatever it is. If you feel like over time, you don't see these things coming into place, that can make you shut down as well. And again, I opened up about being honest about how you feel, being open with your emotions. If you're able to be open and honest with your emotions and how you feel, you'll always be able to keep that person on board. Oftentimes, we don't tune in and tap in to how our person's feelings may have changed over time. Hey, I told you that I wanted to work on this 2 years ago. And here we are, I feel as though we're in the same situation, the same boat, so to speak. And slowly but surely, we're starting to sink. And then your mind, because I'm not bringing it up enough that it's bothering me, you're thinking everything is okay and not paying attention enough, seeing how my body language is, connecting to how my emotional disconnection is. You don't even realize that you're losing me. So for the person that's feeling like we got all these unmet expectations, you need to be heard. You need to voice how you're feeling inside to give that person a chance and an opportunity and let them know, like, whoa, I'm losing my baby. I'm losing my love. I don't want to do that. Let me tighten up. Let me refocus. Let me get back on my game. Let me show her, let me show him that I'm serious about us and I'm not trying to lose you. All right? So you got to share how you're feeling. You got to be open and honest with each other, and that's going to allow better understanding. Another thing that can mess up our understandings of each other is different backgrounds, different upbringings before we even met each other. All right? You may have seen your mother or your father or your lack of your mother or the lack of your father being in your life communicate ineffectively. Communicate where they arguing and yelling. And you as a youngin' growing up and watching all this and being a sponge in those relationships in those times, and you remember what they said and what they did and how they treated each other. You may think that's the way you're supposed to communicate with each other. And you may think that a person is supposed to understand you because you're responding in that outraged way. You may think that's how you're supposed to communicate with a man. You may think that's how you're supposed to communicate with a woman. That may be your idea. You may have seen your grandmother or your grandfather or your auntie or your uncle, people that you love and care about, people who have a big foundation, you as a child, for how you are right now as an adult. All right? So we all have these different backgrounds and different things that we've seen and witnessed that have shaped us into how we communicate currently, present day. Okay? So that's another thing that we got to have a discussion about. What are you used to seeing? Oh, now I understand why you may start acting the way you do when we have a disagreement, or if we trying to meet in the middle, and it's always hard to meet in the middle, compromise for each other. It can be hard because that's what you're used to seeing. Also, another thing that could be something that could be detrimental to your relationship is social media. You could be looking at social media and how other couples are, and then you want to compare yourself and your relationship to how they are, and that can mess up how you view the person that you're with, because you're looking at this fairy tale couple and you like, man, I want this for my relationship. Yeah, you could want it for your relationship, but is it realistic in your relationship? Are you willing to work on the things that we're talking about, so the trust, and you're able to strengthen those bonds? You're able to accomplish that. That's important, right? So don't look at social media, and I'm sure if we did some type of study, we spend hours and hours and hours a day when we're not working, whenever we can, our lunch breaks, in between time, on our phones. And you're being influenced, whether you know it or not, by the things that you're seeing. It's shaping your mind somehow, some way. And you should go and check out my video on how social media affects our brains to get maybe a better understanding of what I'm talking about. But in a relationship context, it's also shaping your brain and shaping your emotions and shaping what you see, and it can take its toll on your relationship and your understanding with each other. All right? So try to save yourself a lot of stress and aggravation by trying to compare yourself to what you see out there. If you're able to see yourself right here in your heart, that's going to translate into your mind, that's going to translate into your spirit and your soul. And then if that person is willing to tap into that energy as well, that's going to help you out tremendously, so you can really see each other and share that vision and have great understanding. All right, y'all. So this is what I want us to do. I want us for the challenge this week, and I'm thinking on my feet, thinking about it right now, thinking about all the things that I just said a moment ago. I want us to be able to have an open and honest challenge. Can we have an open and honest challenge? Can we do that? The open and honest challenge. So I want you to choose this week to talk to your man, to talk to your lady, and be open and honest with each other about the things that you are uneasy about, the things that you feel uncertain about, the things that you feel unsure about. If it's easier for you to communicate on paper, write it down, share those ideas with each other. Both of you can write your open and honest statements and thoughts on paper, share them. Maybe you could even read them out loud. You give her yours, she gives you hers, and then y'all can read each other's out loud. And then you could talk about it. All right? Have an open and honest conversation, an open and honest challenge this week, and be sure that both of you are listening more than you are speaking. Listening more than speaking. I like that. I really do. Okay? So let's work on our listening skills. Let's work on being open and honest with each other. And I think that'll be a big, big, big help for how we communicate with each other and how we understand each other. All right, y'all, it's time for Toast Time with the King. One of my favorite parts about the show, other than talking about all this wonderful energy and great things and us growing and glowing and being better than what we were the day before. That's what this channel is really all about. Working on each other, working on our personal development, motivating each other, and motivating ourselves. You gotta be able to motivate yourself, y'all, all right? And right now, I wanna motivate you to drink something good. Ooh, I can see the strawberries at the top. We got strawberry, pineapple, lemon juice this week. This one's for you, y'all. All I did was take some frozen strawberries, I cut some fresh lemon, I cut some fresh pineapple, I added some spring water, I added some honey, and it's on the money. This week, y'all, we want to toast to having better communication with each other. We want to toast to having open and honest conversation with each other. We want to toast to being able to unpack our baggage and unpack our luggage when we feel strong enough to. I want to toast to that other person that's hearing you unpack all of these things, that they're able to use active listening and allow you to feel like you're in that safe place so you can build trust and strengthen these bonds that we have with each other. I think a lot of it starts right there, y'all. I want to toast to love. I want to toast to romance. I want to toast to understanding. I want to toast to development. And I want to toast to us being happy and in love. If it's meant to be, please create it. Let it be. All right, y'all. So raise your glasses. Hopefully you got something good. And this is to us. Delicious. This episode of the King Omar Sharif Show is solely for educational and entertainment purposes only. It is not intended as a substitute for advice of a physician, professional coach, psychotherapist, or any other qualified professional. Thank you for watching to the end. If you haven't already, please subscribe right now, y'all. And if you did enjoy the show, there's so much more to come and so much more to see, like this show and this one. That's love, y'all. See you next week.